The military assigned me to Miami, Florida.
Wait, what?
Yeah, what?
Wait, when's your movie coming out or your series? That sounds like Jessica Herdrich fighting crime, the Miami attorney. And then there's like a picture of you on a beach with a surfboard and like some law book under the other hand. Like you're outstretched getting some sun, even though you're from Illinois and you're probably burned. And you're reading some legal book. It's probably upside down because we got to put a comedic effect on it. But there's a surfboard next to you. What do you think? I just pitched the show to you.
Is there anything better than a trip getting ready? Nope. For a long journey where our podcast released a new epi, searching for a fade fiend, new fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones, they gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text some friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talk your wisdom out.
Welcome in, everyone. Episode 77. Hey, that's a pretty lucky number there, back to back. 77, Chi-Town Herd, with our guest, Jessica Nicole Herdrich.
Hi.
Jessica. I know, of all the things, I had to get funny with the title. Your opinion of me just dropped, didn't it?
No, everyone who works with me knows that I really like too many puns. I throw them in left, right, and sideways. So, pun for pun.
I believe the people that have a repertoire of puns are of a higher intellect. Just my opinion.
Fast on their feet.
Thank you. This is why you're on the pod. You're one of my people. So we're just going to jump in and get started. I want everyone to know a little bit about. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Carroll Stream, Illinois. Little small town there. I lived with my mom, my dad, and my brother. I was homeschooled kindergarten through high school. The reason for that, brother had some disabilities and the schools weren't really providing or taking care of his needs. So my mother started homeschooling him. And then when I came along, she was already on the whole homeschooling program. So she did the same for me. My parents were actually of a mind to put me in public high school because of all the years I spent complaining about being homeschooled. But my mom had started a daycare when I was 14 years old. And once I had cute little toddlers in my life, I realized these are actually much better people to spend my time with than teenagers. So when they broached the idea of going to public high school, my answer was, why would I want to do that? And they were absolutely thrown for a loop. But I continued on being homeschooled. I played with those cute little people. 9/11 was a game changer because those cute little people asked me, are the bad guys going to kill my mommy and daddy? Who's going to protect us? And I said, I would. And so that's how and why I then went through ROTC during college and ultimately joined the military, and I presently am a military attorney, a judge advocate, and I'm presently stationed in Wisconsin.
Wait a minute. You're an attorney? Oh, I got so much to tell you about. So last Friday I was in Vegas, right? And for some reason, when I woke up, I didn't know where my wallet was or anything was. And there was a lot of blood on my left hand, but it was, sorry. We shouldn't be talking about this when I'm going to send this out to everybody, right?
I think I want to know more about the blood on your hand.
What? How had you going? It was very interesting. So. But so I'm going to come back to the other stuff, but so what I just did, when people don't know you're an attorney, even in the military, when people know you're an attorney, is there ever a point where people start rambling like I just did? Because I feel like for a lot of us, we only see that on TV, but I feel like that actually happens. Is that true?
Oh, yes. Yes, people start rambling, and sometimes we're in a position where my role, we represent the command, and sometimes that means the command that's taking action against the soldier, and so when the soldier is ready to come confess, uh, or starting to tell us things, we have to say, hey, hold on. We'll get you to Trial Defense Services,
Uh-huh.
and you tell them, and do not tell us those things. Please do not tell us those things. For goodness sakes, do not tell
Wait a
us
minute.
things.
So I know you're going to tell them to stop. As you saw, I went through every stop sign. I didn't want to stop until I realized I should stop. But what if, I mean, you can't put toothpaste back into the tube. Do you get to use that? I mean, I'm not trying to judge you there. See what I did there? But I'm just saying, can you use
Judge,
it?
judge advocate. Well, you can always judge the judge advocate.
Then
No,
I'll do a lot of that.
there are times, there are times where, if you fail to read someone their rights, there are times where, the evidence has to be excluded. The exact circumstances and the exact situation can change the outcome. So nobody who's listening needs to take this as legal advice. I'm just going to say there are times where you can't use it. So,
Oh
but
my
there's
gosh, you just hijacked this pie. There was so much other stuff I wanted to go into, but I'm intrigued now. So okay, so there's a caper, and
a
my buddy
caper.
Gerald. Yeah, oh yeah, it's a caper. If I'm gonna do it, I'm going all the way. It's officially a caper. Like we are one step away from Ocean's 11.
How does one define a caper?
Oh, uh, if this goes south, the words may come out of my mouth. You guys are never taking me alive.
Well,
Hey,
a
come on.
caper.
That,
I would advise against any and all capers. That's where I'm starting. Don't
you're not
do
the boss of
caper,
me. You're not the boss of me. If
okay?
I need this to feel alive, I'm going to do it.
Again, I can only advise,
Oh,
and
see?
don't have to take my advice.
Oh my gosh. We're coming back to that too. All right. So the caper is afoot. The caper has been done. I don't know. Maybe there's a little evidence. Maybe the Roscoe, Popo, the pigs. Man, no cops are going to want to listen to this now. I can't
Probably
think of
not.
any more things to call cops. But anyway,
Or
the
maybe
cops
they're
are
gonna
closing
look
in.
to get something on you. Why don't you just state your home address and your license plate number?
They're coming for me. They're coming. Well, we are 7 minutes in, and I'm already the most wanted man in Texas. We're outlaws here in Texas.
Wow.
Jessica, we're outlaws here, and I got to live up to it. So
Okay.
I'm so curious then. So in that caper, I think his name was Gerald. Gerald feels the walls closing in. He's starting erratic breathing, sweating. He's been calling me, and I've been telling him, hey, man, keep a straight face. We're not going to get caught. What if he runs to you? Because I know you said you're going to send me to trial defense, but what about my buddy? If he wants to come to you and like, hey, this happened, same thing. Do you have to send him away too?
Gerald. So Gerald, huh?
Yeah, Gerald is his name.
Gerald is his name, and a caper. And are we talking about you presently still a soldier, presently still in the military,
Oh, that's a
or are
good
you
question.
a civilian guy who's completely changed careers and gone media? It really is very situation specific.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, this is
It
all
really is.
hypothetical. It's all
Right.
hypothetical.
It's all hypothetical. I'm so glad to know that you and Gerald have not been getting into any papers where you two could be getting into any trouble. Let's rein it back to don't do capers. It
No,
doesn't sound.
it's too late. I
You can
told
buy
you.
a jar.
Toothpaste out of the tube.
You can buy a jar of something called capers in the supermarket. They're salty. They add flavor to food. Spice of life. That might be all the capers you need.
Yeah.
You know, that
You know
might
what?
be to go with this.
Okay, well, how about no more capers after this pod episode? How about that? You talked me into it.
But you really want to know if I would have to send Gerald away,
Yes.
and I would have to say it really depends on, you and your status in the military, me and my status first in the military. Would
Yeah.
CID, criminal investigative division, or military police or regular police have to send Gerald away?
Oh.
I'm just going to say it could be different, one situation to another. It could be
Mhm.
different based on status. You keep your friends close and your
Yeah.
enemies closer, and your friends even closer. It would be best for you if Gerald didn't squeal to anybody.
Yeah.
Because
No.
even if some kind of confession got thrown out,
Uh-huh.
uh, there are times and situations where if there is a possibility that law enforcement could have discovered the evidence by some other way,
Yeah.
they might have just enough to know where to look and come up with something that get their evidence legitimately.
Ah.
In certain situations, you want to be very nice to Gerald. You want to be very nice to you.
Uh-huh.
You want your buddy to not rat you out.
This is
And
true.
what you don't seem to want to stay away from capers, but I want you to stay away from capers. And
Ugh.
too, I wish Gerald all the best. And Gerald, whoever you are and wherever you are, watch out for this guy.
I know.
Watch
He hasn't
out.
been listening to any episodes,
Seems
but
like
maybe I'll send him this one.
So Gerald, keep
You
keep
brought up a
sharp.
good point. Earlier, you mentioned, does this happen often where, I mean, here you are giving me advice and I just keep smacking your hand away when you extend it to help pull me out of my caper muck? But
Mm,
would you say out of every 10 cases where you offer advice, let's just say, or not a case, but just bear with me on this. Allow me some, what do you guys say in court? Allow me some latitude, Your Honor.
Sure.
Longitude.
Mm-hmm.
Latitude? Okay.
Latitude.
See, I watch the shows. That's why this is like, I'm geeking out here. I'm so happy that you're on this episode, but I'll try to fanboy it later. So
Mm.
what happens when people like me chasing the capers smack your hand away? At that point, you just got to sit and let them get hit by the onslaught of negativity that they brought into their life. Because it seems like that. I bet that happens a lot, right? They don't take your advice.
It happens at times.
Okay.
Yeah, there are times where, it's like, didn't we talk about you not doing that thing that you did?
But I'm really good at it, ma'am, even though I got caught.
So yes, that happens. So what do you want to know about it?
Yeah. No, you just told me. That's okay. We're coming back to that. That is too much fun. But I wanted to keep setting the table for everyone. Let's go back. Did you say Carroll Stream, a little small village in DuPage County, Illinois, of
Well,
the
I
census?
say DuPage County, Illinois, but you did.
And,
That's true.
and it has, by the last census, 39,000 people.
If you say so.
Man, that's so
right.
small. I feel
Yeah.
like you know everybody in that village.
I I don't think it's that small. We're
Mhm.
not exactly the Village People. We're not exactly doing YMCA,
You're
but
stealing my jokes.
I'm trying. You. I mean, I gave you latitude, but you showed no gratitude. So now I got.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Ladies
One
and gentlemen, this is why she's on the pod. This was no mistake.
One thing that's kind of cool about the town,
Yeah,
how it got its name, because Carol Stream sounds kind of like a person, doesn't it?
it does.
Well, Jay Stream founded the town, and after his daughter Carol was in some kind of bad accident, he thought, hey, I'll make you feel better, kid. I'll name a town for you. So it
No.
was named after a person. It's Carol Stream. So that's how the town got its name. Good place to be, good place to grow up. It has one of the last, drive-in movie theaters. Uh,
Whoa.
there aren't very many of those left in the country, but there is a drive-in movie theater. So it's
How,
around.
how far away from Chicago is this place?
Oh, this is over an hour. I mean, it's one of those things where, when you live in Carroll Stream, you talk about driving into the city, but
Oh,
you get a couple hours away from Carroll Stream. You get outside Illinois, for instance.
yeah.
Where are you? Where's that? I'm from Chicago. Oh, I know what Chicago is.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So the further away I am from where I grew up, the closer my proximity to Chicago is. The closer I am to home when I get to talking to people like, oh, is that near Wheaton? Is that near Geneva? Is that near Aurora?
Ah.
Oak Grove Village? No, I'm not from Chicago. Not even close to Chi-Town.
I
So.
get that.
Mhm.
Now, I I have to quiz you here though. North side or south side? You a Cubs fan or a Sox fan?
So my dad is a Sox fan, and I am just kind of a bandwagon supporter of whatever team makes sense because I've never really truly followed sports. Although I will pretend to root for the opposing team just to bug people now and then.
Oh my gosh. Uh,
What?
your dad still likes you, right? Rooting against his team?
Well, I don't do that to my dad.
Oh,
I
okay.
love my
All
dad.
right. Oh, okay. All right. I thought.
See how that is? So I am at least notionally a Sox fan. So
All right. Okay. South side. South
not,
side. Comiskey Pot. Is it still called Comiskey?
no, they actually renamed it to like U.S. Cellular Field,
Oh, yep. Okay. I'm there.
and
I'm there
they
now.
renamed Sears Tower to the Willis Towers,
Yes.
and
I went to the top.
they renamed Marshall Fields. Macy's took over, and I'm telling you, as longtime Chicagoans, my parents cried when that happened. So there
All
were
right.
actual tears when they took down the Marshall Field signs. Just saying. I
Whoa.
mean, it's a Chicago institution. So yeah,
All right.
something.
So
But
you were
I'm trying
homeschooled.
to podcast. I'm putting a real damper on the mood, aren't I? So
No, no, you're
what?
not. No, you're not. No, no, that's the good stuff right there. Not to mention,
Mhm.
I already had a buddy on. He's from outside of Chicago. Who's a wrestler. He was
Okay.
all Army wrestling. Like he was a legit dude.
Mhm.
Went to West Point and did some cage fighting or MMA. I
Wow.
better get that right, or he's gonna punch me in the face. But now I can't wait to tell him you're from Carol Stream and see his
Okay.
reaction. I think that's gonna be really cool. But back
Where,
to Carol
where
Stream. Oh man, I wish you wouldn't have asked me. I'm gonna have to edit that out. I don't want him to know I forgot. I'll get that to you. What was that?
sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. He lives in Atlanta, so at least he can't like punch me in the face right away.
He'd have to
Just
come find
thank
you.
you. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I could talk to you about how to get a restraining order if you really need
Whoa!
one. See,
See
see?
that? Hey, listeners, y'all see that? That's why I have friends in high places and you don't. I've got Jessica. You guys don't have her. Oh my gosh.
Fun
If
stuff.
I was losing them, I
Mm-hmm.
lost them right there. So
Yeah.
if we were to come visit, what's the draw? Are we coming there for that drive-in movie? Is that the big draw for anyone like the tourists? Are you guys popular for like you got the biggest burger in Chicago area? Is it the drive-in movie? What's the draw?
So Carol Stream specifically, yeah. It's I mean, I guess the drive-in might be the closest thing to a draw that there really is. There is Wayne County, just 5-10 minutes away. There's a lot of horses there, and even equestrian competitions out that way.
Oh,
So that's kind of neat. Country
yeah.
just minutes away. We're kind of close to a lot of other towns. Cute little towns with things like wine bars and olive oil shops, and
Oh,
I think Carol Stream is really kind of good for a location. It's near a lot of other places you might want to be, but it's otherwise a little suburban town without necessarily a big claim to fame.
mhm.
Although I do, it does have some nice parks and hiking trails and things like that that I really enjoy.
Oh, you're a hiker. Hmm.
Sort
Okay.
of. You don't need equipment to be a hiker, and you don't need
No.
to be very good at it to be a hiker. You just need a left foot and a right foot and a willingness to keep using them. So, it's a really easy sport to pick up.
Oh no, you don't. You need a little more than that. You need a sense of direction. What if I get lost?
GPS on my phone.
My battery's low.
Also helps if you kind of know where you're at to,
Yeah.
stay on trails that you know.
Yeah.
Um,
No, you're right.
I don't think I ever told you about my land nav experiences in the military and how those have gone. But
But you're a hiker.
I'm the kind that doesn't use a compass or a map or a protractor
Oh.
or any of that. It's just kind of like I find my way there. I go in a straight line and double back when I've had enough. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What I want to know, you being homeschooled, when it was
Mhm.
time to go off to college, does a homeschool person try to stay as close to family as possible? Or could you get as far away as possible? I'm so curious. Where'd you go when it was time to go to college?
Well, I can't speak for other homeschoolers, but I can tell you what I did. My first thought was I was actually going to go to community college, knock out some of those gen ed classes,
Yeah.
and save my parents some money and figure some things out. But I was also talking to the ROTC program at Wheaton College, and they said, "Hey, we need to get you into a 4-year school in order to, get you a scholarship." And
Mhm.
we got a school for you.
Oh man.
So what happened? Wheaton College in Wheaton, Illinois, which was just 15 minutes from where I grew up.
Whoa.
Uh, they were the ones I was talking to about going to ROTC because I was going to stay close to home. I
Mhm.
wanted my little daycare kids to see me going off to fight bad guys in uniform or and still be there in time for story time, because they knew I was personally after Osama bin Laden. They toddlers, believe all kinds of things, that I am personally taking out the threat by going to my class, and they felt better and safer. And I made it work. I wasn't sure if I had what it took to be a soldier, but
Yeah.
I figured I could give this thing a shot,
Hmm.
and I could make these little people feel safer in the world they lived in. Something good was going to happen. But that didn't answer your question. You want to know where I went to school.
Yeah.
So Wheaton College's ROTC program said I needed to be in a 4-year school. They had just added a new school to their ROTC program. They had 5 schools that were part of a satellite program, and Benedictine University in Lisle, Illinois, wanted to have cadets, but they did not have any cadets.
Hmm.
Got their first cadet.
No.
Me. So that's how it went. I continued living with mom and dad and I went to school at Benedictine University, and I did my ROTC with Wheaton College, Rolling Thunder Battalion.
Now, you being at that satellite school, was that a challenge? Especially because you're coming from the school by yourself, so everyone's like, here comes the Benedictine girl. Like, was it kind of like that?
No, not quite like that, but not quite not like that. Because there were, I would say, all my former cadets, everyone I worked with, served with, all really wonderful people.
Yeah.
However, I don't feel like I quite had as much opportunity to know them as well when I was
Mhm.
seeing them a couple mornings a week for PT, and a long Thursday afternoon for lab, as I
Yeah.
would, if I lived on campus, ran into them, in the dining facility, in if we shared classes, if we shared dorm rooms, if we shared our whole lives and our whole college experience. Yeah, I maybe didn't get quite as close to some of them as I might have had I been there on campus. But on the other hand, when things got a little stressful, to be able to leave that place and go to my school away from it all,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
just be Jessica Herdrich, the student.
Yes.
That was a nice
Yes.
thing sometimes. So it had its pros, it had its cons. Like everything, it is what you make of it.
Um, feel like there's a lot of you know what? I think my dog knows that I have someone from Chicago on the line, and
Uh-huh.
we're afraid our house is going to get broken into. So when you have the opportunity, you lived at home at college, or you were in the dorms?
No, I lived at home.
Now, when you're on campus, but you got mama's cooking right there, do you bring something from home, or are you eating on campus?
There was a little of both. I went home for dinner every night. I brown bagged it some, but oftentimes what they had to eat on campus was better than any of the leftovers in the refrigerator. So I did a mix of buying and eating at home. I came to know Bev, the cafeteria lady at Benedictine, really well. It's a really
Hmm.
sweet lady, which tells you I ate there a fair amount.
Oh yeah, you still remember her name? That's pretty awesome. Shout
It
out
was
to
a
Bev
That's
from
right.
Benedictine. I hope she gets this show. So where exactly did the idea come from for you to be a military attorney? What? How did that come?
Uh,
That doesn't sound like when you're like, oh, I'm going to help get Bin Laden. If that seems like a far ways away from, I'm going to help get Bin Laden. Oh wait, military attorney. So how did that come about? You got to know.
hey, that's fair. That is totally fair. I spent most of my high school years watching a very long running TV show, Jag.
Ooh,
Right.
I've heard of it.
I'm sure you've at least heard of it.
Oh, heck yeah, I have.
But all through my high school years, this is what I was watching. So Harm, Mac. It's a funny thing. It wasn't until I was in the JAG Corps that my mom wondered when I was going to get my wings because she saw
Oh,
Ab's pilot wings that were part of the show, and I had to
mhm.
tell her, "No, mom, that's because of the main character's Navy background flying planes. No, no, no. The JAG Corps insignia is this little wreath with this crossed pin and sword." And she's like, "What?"
I know that don't sound as cool. We
Not
want wings. We want wings.
My mom did for sure. I have gotten her to come around on it, although the whole pen is mightier than the sword is just it's not wings.
No, it didn't. No, that didn't sell her. You
But
lost a little steam there. The wings, pin. But I mean,
but I watched this TV show during some pretty formative years,
yeah.
and it's funny. I had a friend of mine about the time I was in high school, and we were both talking about what we were going to be when we grew up, and talking, and at that point in time, I was more disillusioned than I should have been. And I said something like, probably end up doing something boring like selling insurance. I mean, who really gets to do their dream come true in this world? And
Yeah.
my friend Laura Martindale, Laura, who became the first woman to sail on a Navy sub, Laura, who went to Annapolis, Laura looked me in the eye and said, "Well, I want to be like those people on JAG, and I want to go to the Navy Academy. And, somebody out there does get to do those things.
Wow.
Somewhere, somebody grows up to be the ballerinas and the
Mhm.
firefighters
Yeah.
lawyers and the JAG lawyers and whatever. And the difference is those who believe they can and are willing to work as hard as it takes to get there. And after I picked my jaw up off the floor and
Yeah.
collected the bits of my mind that had been blown, I got a fresh perspective and realize that our possibilities really are limited in a large measure by what we are willing to believe is possible. And we
Mhm.
often self select out of opportunities we could have, lives we could live, hopes and dreams we can fulfill. And I realized I needed to think again. I had kind of in the back of my mind been thinking of becoming a JAG from all those years watching that TV show. So then 9/11 happened. The little ones asked me about who was going to protect them. I made up my mind I was going into the military. I kind of knew what I wanted to do once I was in there, and it was not SEAL Team 6. It was not really down Bin Laden. That just wasn't quite my thing.
Yeah.
I found my thing, and I'm loving life doing it now.
It always seems like people go in the military and other people feel like it's a prison sentence. Like, man, they were in the army and they never came back. Like it's life. But I always like to say if someone stays in the military for a long time, it's because they like it. It's not prison. I mean, I'm
Right?
sure they can come and go. Do you agree, disagree? How do you explain to people? Because 9/11 happened 22 years ago. I don't know how long you have in, how much longer you have, but like, what's your view on people who who go in, stay in. What's your view on that when you have those conversations?
What's my view on those that go and stay in? Well, the the military offers a lot.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of benefits, a lot of opportunity.
Hmm.
Um, I found when I couldn't get a job practicing law on the civilian side because I attempted to come in as a reservist. I found the Army would give me a chance when it seemed like the rest of the world wouldn't.
Whoa.
Um, lot of there's a lot of opportunity to be had in the military. I've gotten to go places that I otherwise wouldn't have seen, but for the military. Now,
Hmm.
some people would say, yeah, maybe those weren't places you would have wanted to go. But I actually wanted to go to Kuwait. How many Americans have really been, but, I was able to go to the Middle East. I was able to go to Mississippi, where I spent 3 wonderful years. The military assigned me to Miami, Florida.
Wait,
I mean,
what?
yeah, what?
Wait, when's your movie coming out or your series? That sounds like Jessica Herdrich fighting crime, the Miami attorney. And then there's like a picture of you on a beach with a surfboard and like some law book under the other hand. Like you're outstretched getting some sun, even though you're from Illinois and you're probably burned. And you're reading some legal book. It's probably upside down because we got to put a comedic effect on it. But there's a surfboard next to you. What do you think? I just pitched the show to you.
Did I mention I did Freedom of Information Act request? A
That sounds
four-letter
cool,
word that
though.
starts with F. FOIA.
It just seems like there are, man, there's got to be out of 100 people, only you that was able to go to Miami and be like in the Army. It sounds so amazing. Like again, that ain't on the brochure. I'm sure a lot of people would be joining. All my cousins would have joined if they know. Oh, the Army's gonna send you to Miami. What? I'm in. How did you get out of Miami? Like you had to break out. Like, did they force you out? Are you running from the coppers? Why would you leave and go to Wisconsin? What the heck? Are you feeling okay? Did you hit your head when you were surfing?
Miami to Wisconsin. It is kind of a surprise, and a lot of people would think you'd be. I would have been very unhappy about that, but it was a really good and really right move from me.
Wow.
I had been on ADOS orders, and for those who don't speak Army, ADOS is kind of like being a substitute teacher almost.
Oh,
You're on temporary orders for a period of time, and then
yes.
when your orders end, you have to go back to either living regular life or find you a new set of orders. So it is, if you're trying to do it as a way of making a living, it is not solid. It's
Yeah.
sort of like trying to find successive substitute teaching gigs and
Yeah.
hoping there will be a next thing for you. So I
Ah,
had been doing that for about 4 to 5 years when I got accepted for what's known as the AGR program, the Active Guard Reserve, where I'm full time in the Army Reserve. And after one job gets finished, the Army is going to find me a new job, and I have job security. So I got picked up for the AGR program, and I got that job security
mhm.
while I was stationed in Miami. And so I was very, very happy to come to Wisconsin, close to home and family, in
I
what was
understand.
the first of a series of permanency. I got a job, and knowing that I will have another one, and knowing I won't, have to go back to the civilian sector,
Yeah.
or on the waiting game looking for a next set of orders. So this was a very good situation. And I got to tell my dad on his 81st birthday that I'm
Wow,
home.
that's cool.
So yeah, it really is cool.
So if the Army says, hey, we got to find somebody to go to Miami, are you down? Would you want to go back?
You know, Miami had a lot of good things in it. Um,
Oh,
it had a lot of good things. Though, I don't know that it would be my first choice place. Uh,
oh.
I remember seeing some of the bright lights and things and thinking my 25-year-old self would have been so into this and not quite muster up the excitement.
Yes.
Uh, I think you have to be at a certain stage and place of your life to properly appreciate Miami.
Yeah.
I did get to fulfill one of my dreams, which was, living in a place with a pool and palm trees and near a beach. And
Yeah.
landlocked Midwestern kid, I thought that was going to be paradise. And I found out it is possible to get tired of swimming. Who knew?
Oh man.
I yeah.
I
Of
had
course,
so many jokes for that.
there
I don't
there
know
are
anybody from Chicago that can swim. Well, how'd you learn to swim?
right. My mom had a couple of drowning scares, and she made very certain that I could swim. So
Oh, good job, mama.
swimming lessons, yes.
So
Actually,
yeah.
there's kind of a funny story about that. So despite swimming lessons, ROTC's combat water survival training was not
Yeah.
something that basic swim lessons had prepared me for, because
Um,
you have to be able to swim in uniform with heavy boots. And one particular stroke I'd never learned was the side crawl, which you have to be able to do. So I could do some of the stuff like jumping off the diving board blindfolded, holding a rifle over my head. Okay, fine. I could do a flip underwater and, take off some equipment. Yeah, I could do that.
yeah.
I could do this side crawl thing, and I went under.
Oh
And
man.
they gave me a weak swimmer tab.
What?
Yes, little flap of fabric to tie, to the buttonhole
Hmm.
around at my collar, so that they tie around a button so that they could identify me as someone who might need a little extra saving from the lifeguards. Well,
That sounds great.
I told my mom, and she's like, "Oh, I know what to do about this." My swim teacher's sons both went into the military
Oh.
and also helped mom at times, with her swim lesson business, and gave private lessons.
Mhm.
So mom found me a lieutenant colonel who knew what combat water survival training was,
Mhm.
who met with me at the gym, and so there were some swim lessons, and I learned everything I needed to do in order to pass the class. We did everything. I even brought uniform and boots to the pool and just made sure that the weight of those wasn't a problem for me. And that next year, I did not need that little weak swimmer tab anymore. But I
I
do keep
feel
it. I keep that tab. It's in this little jewelry box, with other little items that remind me of, where I came from, how far I've come,
yeah.
things like that there.
If
So
you're swimming at those swimming lessons with the lieutenant colonel, if he's barking at you saying, use that left hand, use that right hand, do you have to stop, salute him, and then keep swimming? Is that what happens there?
I don't think stopping to salute would have gone well for me.
Oh, okay.
Fortunately, he really wasn't a barker,
Okay.
and a lot of military that I've met, as you might know, um, don't fit that classic Full Metal Jacket military mold. A lot of
What?
them are pretty cool, pretty decent people.
Wait. Don't you go changing our opinion of the military. When's the last time somebody yelled at you? Did your boss yell at you today? Or are you the boss?
Well, I'm halfway the boss. I'm I know that doesn't make sense, but I am the deputy and I run the legal office on a full-time basis. I
Yeah.
do have a boss because, as my paralegal likes to say, everybody has a boss.
Mm-hmm.
So none of us are bossless, but my boss is a part-timer who, is kind of distant. So he's geographically distant and we see him on battle assembly weekends.
Yeah.
So frequently. He's also just a phone call and an email away because he's a really good guy and he believes in being committed to the work and being there for his people. But on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
I'm kind of the boss.
Oh, you're El Jefe. Wait a
Except
minute.
not really, because I got to ask my boss.
True. Wait. For those of us who don't know, so like the military, the civilian life, when you know your boss is coming, do you got to change parking spots or you get to keep parking wherever you at? But if you know that the big dog is coming, do you got to park somewhere else?
I like the back of the lot, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, you ruined it.
Sorry.
He doesn't complain. He doesn't complain
Well,
then when he gets there.
no. What you're really getting after is how much and what ways does it shake up our lives, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we usually prepare for the meeting, with the that my boss has with the commanding general because he's advising on actions. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
are preparing paper files and getting documents ready for review. But other than that, planning topics for meetings and discussions. But I not real it doesn't really change our lives in any kind of negative way. It's not stop doing what you've been doing, show
Yeah.
up on time for once. Okay, maybe a little of that.
Wait, Jessica. Here's I'm pitching so many movies to you. So here's the scene. The big dog is coming in. You don't have to change your parking spots. You guys are gonna go brief the general. You walk into that briefing with your papers, and they're in one of those like aluminum attaché cases, right? And you slam it on the desk, and then you pop open the latches, and then you slowly lift it up and pull out your army gun and then your papers. Is that how it goes?
No,
Oh.
not even a little.
Well, you know what? You and I are not making an army commercial right here because we keep
I
letting
don't
everybody down.
need a attaché case, buddy.
You know the one I'm talking about. The drug dealers ones that they have in the movie. Yeah, that one. They gotta. Oh, do you ever have to handcuff yourself because it's like a high profile case? You've got dirt on a general, and you handcuff that to yourself all the way to court. Have you ever done that?
No.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought the army
And
was like
don't
exciting
have things.
because
Just
it doesn't sound like you blow stuff up.
no.
So
I don't fly Tomcats. I don't
what?
have things. I don't handcuff myself to attaché cases.
Wait. Just
And
when's the last
and
time you threw a
also,
grenade?
I don't throw grenades.
Oh my
I practiced grenade throwing in ROTC with dummy grenades, so that's as
God.
close as I've gotten to throwing grenades.
All right.
So and we don't go off on anyone about how they can't handle the truth.
You need me on that wall.
Although I'm on the receiving end of a lot of jokes about that.
I can imagine. I can
Hmm.
imagine.
That's right.
Uh, all right. So now that you've ruined everyone's opinion, none of us are going to join the military now. Thanks a lot. Uh, we're we're all going to go work at Tesla now just because of you.
Oh my.
We would have served, but if anyone asks us if there's like a an exit interview that the military sends out, we're dropping your name. All listeners, drop her name. Well, we would have, but Jessica said we don't get no. Yeah, everybody say, well, Jessica said. Jessica said.
Well, let me just say, I am speaking as Jessica. I do not speak on behalf of the Army. My
Yeah.
opinion is mine and mine alone. They are not held or shared by that of the U.S. Army or the
Yep.
Army Reserve or anyone in it. And so, what that means, if you ask the right people who are empowered to speak on behalf of the actual Army, you might find a recruiter who
Yeah.
will tell you about the attaché cases, the handcuffs, the
Yep.
guns, the
Yeah,
grenades,
that
the
stuff.
wings. You sign up for the JAG Corps and you do get those wings, airborne wings, air assault wings. If you go to the right schools, you just might find a recruiter that'll
Yeah.
tell you all the things you want to hear, and I just recommend that you see it in writing before you sign on the dotted line.
Look at you. See, still giving great advice. That's awesome.
I
So,
try,
what are
try.
you listening to on the way to work? What's on your playlist? What tunes do you listen to nowadays?
Nowadays, I'm kind of a 70s, 80s music kind of gal. In
Oh,
fact, let's see, I was listening to a little bit of Eagles, a little bit of Springsteen,
yeah,
nice playlist I was listening to just this morning.
that's cool.
Hmm.
I want to know if you could meet 5 people, dead or alive, bring them back. They're healthy. Don't worry, they're not zombies. Who are your top 5 people that you would like to have dinner with?
I am very glad that they're not going to be zombies and that they would be health. That's a
Especially
really,
since you don't have your gun, your attaché case, or a grenade. What you gonna do with the zombie then, Jessica? Nothing. Are you gonna ball up one of your pieces of paper for the general and throw it at him, or
uh-huh.
make a pointy nosed airplane and poke them in the eye?
I probably would not do those things.
Oh, maybe you take it and then you run up to him and give him a wicked paper cut, then jump back.
And you're stalling, but good because I got a deer in headlights look and need a minute to come up with 5 people,
Yes.
dead or alive, that I'd really want to sit down with, meet, and have dinner with. Right?
Yep, that's exactly it. Yeah, I try to. This is one of the questions. I don't use them all the time, but these are one of the ones that makes people squirm. I always tell you guys, oh, this is going to be easy. This is going to be fun. But I do have a couple questions that make people squirm, like this one, because you're like, oh my god. So yeah, very interested in who your top 5 dead or alive are.
Okay, so my number one, I would like to meet Jesus.
Right.
Um,
Oh, who's paying for
paying?
that dinner? Yeah, who's
I
paying?
I don't know. Probably going to bring in a boatload of fish or something like that. Bread to
Yeah,
feed 5,000 or something like that.
yeah, well done.
And I feel like on some level I know him. But I mean, we know, but there's a difference between sitting down, looking a person in the eye,
Yeah,
feeling the warmth, and seeing what those who actually lived with them, actually walked with them, actually spoke with him, saw. Because we see but as through a dark glass.
yeah,
We don't have we don't have quite the perfect, clear, unfiltered connection or vision, like when you're truly face to face, truly with someone, looking them in the eye, where you
Yep.
can see them, hear them, touch them, give a hug, just it's just different. And I would, that would be my number one. I would want to do that.
Hmm.
uh and actually, no kidding, real life, I'd want to meet Jesus.
Yeah. That's a good start. I don't know how you're gonna follow that one up. You still got 4 more to get to. So just like after that.
Right. I want to meet Harriet Tubman.
Oh.
She was such a brave lady and
Mhm.
such an inspiration. There was a lot of courage that woman had. I mean, to say, I realized I had a choice between freedom or death, and if I couldn't have the one, I would gladly take the other. I mean, wow, that is tough.
She's a hiker, and
She
I bet she does amazing at land nav. No
She
compass.
That's right. I mean, she didn't get lost. I
No.
mean, the fact that she was willing to risk her life going to a place where people had wanted signs looking for her, going back and rescuing people, whole families, and bringing them to freedom. The fact that she was willing to make hard decisions, to include, drugging small babies so they wouldn't cry and give them away, and
Mm-hmm.
telling people, no, you are not going to quit, I am going to make you keep going. The fact that she had a spy network out there and was, that were reporting to her as she's reporting to the Union Army. Wow,
Yeah.
she's someone I wish I could sit down with. That I'd really love to meet her. I just hope she would want to meet with me and tell me some things about where she got her strength and her
Oh,
courage to keep on keeping on like she did. I
the
really
courage.
need her.
She said, "Let's go walk through this swamp." What? You know they got alligators in South Carolina and Georgia, right? Nah.
And
I'm that's
they
okay,
got
Harriet. I'm gonna wait for the next bus. That's what I'm telling her.
right.
God.
It takes, it was it was it was when I was living in Mississippi and
Yeah.
saw how thick the dark night got, how
Yeah.
thick that darkness was, where you really couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And when I realized that also I didn't go out without a flashlight,
Yep.
because we had all kinds of slithery things that I
Yeah.
didn't fighting me. I didn't need to go out there and face slithering death all by myself.
No thanks.
I came to realize just what that took, and why so many decided, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
I
Ugh.
mean,
Yeah.
I am alive, and out there I might not be.
Yeah.
Um, so much courage, so much inspiration. She is someone I would love to meet,
Hmm.
given the opportunity. But I mean, obviously not an option I have. But if I could, I would.
Yeah. That's a good one. You went from Jesus to Moses. She led them out of the wilderness. All right.
Yeah,
3 left.
I would love to meet Nelson Mandela. Um,
Whoa. Man.
Really, I mean, the ability to overcome and to forgive,
Hmm.
and to get other people, to lead people, to get others to forgive, to reunite, to put aside the animosity, and there's plenty of reason to be angry, to hate, but for something for a greater purpose, to reunite a nation, chose to overlook some terrible wrongs done to him.
Yeah.
That is something I would like. That is somebody I would like to meet. And in sort of the same thought, I'd like to meet Dietrich Bonhoeffer. You know him? Know of him?
I don't know that name.
Okay. And that's okay. He's maybe not quite as world famous,
Mhm.
but he was actually a German pastor who was imprisoned in a concentration camp during World War II. He actually had an opportunity to be freed, and he chose to stay and to minister to those who remained within. And while he was there, he wrote a lot of books on the topic of God's grace
Mhm.
and on forgiveness. One of the big things that he wanted to share with the world is the grace of God. He coined the phrase "greasy grace," where just because we can be forgiven just for the asking, we kind of act like it's easy and cheap and greasy grace, but it's not, because it cost Jesus everything, just like it cost Dietrich Bonhoeffer his life to minister to those that he ministered to, even in the concentration camps, even to his death. He is somebody I would like to meet and talk to and sit down with and learn from and be better after meeting him.
Wow. I don't even know who these last two are going to be. That oh, you got one left. Sorry, we did
Okay.
Jesus. We did Tubman, Mandela. Yep, we're just down to one. Oof. How are we going to finish this off? That's a tough one.
I think I'd like to meet my great grandmother.
Oh,
Yeah. My mom talks about her grandmother all the time,
yeah.
Leela Morgan.
Mhm.
Was really close with Grandma Morgan, and says just great things about what a wonderful lady she was, an inspiration to her, and how much she's like her.
Oh,
So, you know, um, I think in terms of family and family connection, I think I might just like to meet her, say
yeah.
hello. I'm your great granddaughter. Here's how life's been going. And I'd like to, hear a little bit about, how she lived and how she grew up, because um, pieces of family history have been passed down in sort of a scattered kind of way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of missing chunks. In fact, there's a lot that's missing. My grandma was, she's part Cherokee Indian. She doesn't even have, didn't have an official birth certificate.
Oh,
She Their Otis, when they were of age to get Social Security, they found their third grade teacher, who was now in her 90s, who wrote a little letter saying that Eva and Otis were in her class. And this was common of many with Native American heritage. They weren't born in the hospitals, and the states didn't necessarily think it was worth their time to even document their existence. Uh,
whoa.
there were times where, Native Americans could not serve on juries,
Yeah.
um, a lot of things like that. And there's missing pieces from the family history and heritage. So I think I would like to talk to my great grandmother, Leela Morgan,
How did
and
she spell Leela?
Lela.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That was my guess. Yeah, that's a nice name.
It is. I kind of thought in the back of my mind, should I ever have kids? And
Hmm.
I'm thinking of adopting in the next few years. But I'm
Oh, Oh,
Little Leela, maybe.
wow. So if you adopt, when you make your decision, if it is positive that you're going to do it, will you secure your kid to yourself with a pair of handcuffs then? And then in place of a diaper bag, you use the metal attaché. Let's say you.
I don't know. You know what? There was a time where I judged the kind of parents that use those little kid leashes things. But then I went with my friend and her two little boys that didn't believe in holding hands, and we wandered through New Orleans.
Uh-huh.
And I came around on my opinion of parents that do whatever they got to do to keep their
Yes.
kids with them.
They just out here trying to do it right. And honestly, they have, I think this is a military term, they got command and control. So by any means necessary, they got it done.
I will not be using handcuffs to answer your question.
All right. Well, yeah, one person's handcuffs is a person from Chicago's leash. Man, you call it what you want to call it.
We'll
So
see how it goes. I think I'll start really early on with teaching them to hold my darn hand.
yeah, that's a good place to start. Yeah. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. That's probably where you should start. See, you're going to be a good one.
Thank
Don't,
you.
don't use any of my advice unless you need some of these great ideas. Because as you can see, I got a lot of them. And if you ever need me to pitch another show, I'm down for that too.
I will probably come to you for advice because you got 3 of your own and you're doing an amazing job. They're happy, they're healthy, and they're still alive. So
yes, they
you
are.
things very, very right.
Yeah, well, thanks. Final pitch. We're about to land this plane here.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin Writ. That's the name of the next episode, the next series. Wisconsin Writ, like writ of habeas corpus. Sorry, I couldn't think. That's the only W I got. I'm not a fancy military attorney that used to be on the beach running in slow motion, like with my attaché on the beach, like Baywatch.
Motion is the only way I have ever run. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, that would be. Oh man, that'd be really cool. Maybe we film it in Miami, and then just trick people that. Oh yeah, no, this is Wisconsin, just the colorful part. Those pastels are all over Wisconsin. You don't know. You've never been there. That's what we'll tell people.
There's plenty of
Because no one goes to Wisconsin.
There's plenty of green. There's beautiful rolling hills. They actually have things like wineries out here, and they have whole shops devoted to cheese.
I was going to ask. I was. All right,
Cheese
so that's a good place for us to end. This will be your final question. What is your favorite cheese now that you live in the land of dairy, Wisconsin?
Wisconsin. I really enjoyed goat cheese. I also really like cheese curds. While fried are the tastiest, I just like to throw chunks, just cheese curds on top of a salad. They give a little, they are a very special thing. Good old cheese curds. I really fallen in love with them, and yes, they do squeak when you bite into them.
Wow. Well, listeners, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Jessica Herdrich. Jessica, this was exactly what we needed. I bet everyone else got a good little laugh off of your answers. You're great. We are blessed to have had you on this episode 77, and it was a lucky one. Lucky us, we got Jessica Herdrich. Thanks everybody for listening, and Jessica, thanks again.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye now.